So for my sixth video journal entry, I picked an article that was discussing the Swedish government's new coalition between the moderates and the center right, and the Christian Democrats, as well as covering the increases of the far right in the Swedish parliament. Um, I think I picked this article because I found it an interesting. I find it interesting that this only reaffirms the trend of many EU member states governments kind of growing a more far right, anti-immigrant, closed off perspective. The article talks about some of the measures that are going to be passed under the current government, which highlight this. Some of the measures include reducing the quota, tightening citizenship requirements, um, as well as reducing family benefits to the EU minimum standards. Um, I found it, I find this again very indicative because Scandinavian countries typically are seen as very progressive, but as you can see with Sweden and as well as in Denmark, you can see a rise of far right groups and more isolationist not Eurosceptic groups so much in Scandinavia, but definitely more anti-immigration. I think this has a significance to the EU in general, because, well, with this new government in place, the council will obviously have a different makeup, especially the Scandinavian bloc, which might be shifting a bit more towards uh, more of an anti-immigrant stance. Now that Sweden has kind of aligned itself more with Denmark's government. Um, I kind of find it also interesting the marked shift in Sweden, considering that out of all the Scandinavian countries, they have typically been the most open. I mean, just looking at the populations of the neighboring Scandinavian countries, they're minute compared to Sweden. I think Sweden has around 11 million people, and Norway, for example, has two. Denmark has four, I believe. Finland, I think, has like 4 or 5 million people. Um, so it's interesting to see the sudden shift. Um, Maybe it'll be interesting to see if Sweden continues down this path, or if maybe there's a bit of a backlash from the public against these anti-immigrant sentiments. Thanks.